All right, welcome to Chukwu's channel. I am Wu. Please like, share, subscribe, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be discussing the topic of how to select a college major, all right? It's very important. Obviously, it sets you up for at least the next few years coming out of college. It can really shape the trajectory of your life. I myself have a bachelor's in business as well as a master's, an MBA, master's in business administration. So I've been through this process myself. So let's get started. I'll offer you sort of 4 tactical steps to help with your process, and then we'll discuss a few tips or some learnings that I've had over the last few years. The first step, make sure you focus on 3 things. Number 1, what you're actually good at. Number 2, what you actually enjoy, and that can be different from what you're good at. And then 3, what people will actually pay for. Put a list together. These are the things that I'm good at. These are the things that I actually enjoy doing, and these are the things where I believe there's actually a job market where I can get paid for these services, okay? Find some common trends between those 3 lists, and maybe that's an option for you to explore as part of selecting your major. As part of understanding what you're good at, right? Seek feedback. Parents, school teachers, friends, relatives, people who know you very well. Sometimes how you perceive yourself and how you think you perform in a certain situation, what you think you're actually good at, is quite a bit different from how others perceive you. So getting that trusted feedback from people who know you, whose input you can actually rely on, is going to be helpful as part of putting that list together. So again, start with what you're good at, what you enjoy, and what you can actually get paid for. Second is seek feedback from anyone in your circle that really knows you as part of confirming what you've put on that list, okay? So those are the first 2 things. The third thing I would recommend, don't commit to a major in your freshman year. You have plenty of time. Take a variety of courses in different areas. Obviously, it should be focused on what your general interests are, right? That first step of putting together your interests, it should be focused on those, but you don't necessarily have to commit in year 1. You might find after taking a course in anthropology, a course in oceanography, that you feel like based on your skills and what you've learned, that might be a better fit. So you don't have to commit in your freshman year. That's one thing. Fourth thing is list 3 options, 3 majors that you're considering. Go to that particular school, the School of Business, the School of Engineering, what have you. Talk to the professors, and in particular, have them put you in touch with alumnus who have majored in that particular subject. Why? Number 1, you're going to get insightful information from people who have actually been in that field, who can tell you things that, quite frankly, you wouldn't learn from a professor, you wouldn't learn in a book. Secondarily, you're going to get a true feel after speaking with them on whether or not they actually like their decision, and they're going to give you that insight. So it's critically important before you make the commitment, time, financial, college is expensive, to go down a particular path, you understand the ins and outs of the path, the major that you're pursuing, okay? So those are 4 tactical steps. Put together 3 majors. Don't commit in your first year. Seek feedback from those who know you best, and put together that initial list. What you're good at, what you actually enjoy doing, and what you can actually get paid for. Let's talk about a few tips, and this is just based on my own experience, learnings, talking to my counterparts over the last couple of decades. You don't necessarily have to do or major in a subject that your parents want you to major in. You know, many parents, they're always going to have in their mind what they feel is best for their child. Take their advice, understand why they're giving you that advice, but you don't necessarily have to select that major just because your family wants you to do it. That generally, based on what I've seen and talking to my counterparts, it leads to some lack of fulfillment. Maybe you went into the medical field only because your parents pushed you there, but you actually hate the career. Not only does it drag you down, your patients can feel it. You know what I'm saying? They can feel that you're not really energized to be interacting with them. The major that you should select is based on what you actually want to do. Again, take your input from your parents. They're generally trying to do the right thing by you. I tell people, your parents are probably the only people in the world who genuinely, and this isn't always true, generally want to see you succeed. Why? Part of it is selfish. They want to be able to say, my child is a success in this area. So they're going to give you advice that they truly feel is going to help you reach your full life potential, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that advice is right, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you should take that advice, but you should listen to them. Obviously, respect your parents. Ask yourself, quite frankly, number 2, will AI replace this job in 10 years? The rise of artificial intelligence, and I work in tech, although my background is in business, I now work in technology. I can tell you right now, these large language models are advancing at a rate that even the data scientists that I work with didn't know they would advance at. Things are changing very rapidly. So this is a new consideration. I didn't have to ask myself, 15 years ago, 20 years ago when I was in undergrad, whether or not AI will replace this job, but you do need to. Lawyers, probably not a good idea, quite frankly. Copywriters, editors, probably not a good idea, quite frankly. So you have to understand whether or not AI can have the potential to replace your job. Now, I know some will say, whoa, isn't AI going to replace everything eventually? Maybe, but it's definitely going to replace some career fields much sooner than others. So take that into consideration. A third tip is understand that you can change your mind year 2, year 3. Most people, youngsters, at least myself, I was very stretched with graduating at the age of 22, which I did. One thing I've learned after now being 40 years old, you could have taken another 2 years, pivoted majors, and graduated when you were 23, 24. In the long term, those 2 additional years mean nothing at all, right? You're still very young coming out of college at the age of 25. Don't be afraid to pivot if you have different thoughts, different feelings on your original major selection. And one final piece of advice, I talked about putting together the list of things you like, what you're good at, and actually what you can get paid for. Lean more towards what you actually like. If you truly enjoy a subject, you can find ways generally to make money in it. If you don't enjoy a subject, even if it's a lucrative career, you're going to find yourself not feeling so great about it, okay? So I hope you got some value from this video. If you have any other tips or thoughts, please put them in the comment. Again, like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.